Benvenuto Festa Olio Nuovo.
Welcome to the Olive Oil Festival.
Benvenuto al Tempo del Giardino.
And welcome to Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time. We're at Red Ridge Farms for their Festa today, and where everyone is Italian.
Yes, that's right. We are out here for the Olio Nuovo Festival, which really is about the way of celebrating olive oil. In fact, later on in the show, I'm going to be talking to Paul about how they mill olive oil out here.
And also, coming up in the show today, we have gifts for the gardener.
But coming up first, the tips of the month with Jan McNeilin.
Well, as you can see, we're inside for a change with Jan McNeilin. And Jan, are you tired of raking leaves? Because I know I am.
No, because I haven't really done very much yet.
Well, it's good to talk about what we can bring indoors for the winter time.
Sure.
So you really have a menagerie here.
Well, I do, and it's actually less than I've had in the past. I've had a table all the length and another one over here. And this year I thought, you know, I'm just going to pick what I want to bring in. So I've brought in the Christmas cactus, which I'll... or Thanksgiving. When they start to bloom, I'll bring them upstairs and I can see them and bring them back down here. They don't do well in the greenhouse. Some other things, there's some caladiums here that actually aren't going to grow, but I am going to dig the tubers that are in here and clean it out and save them and then replant them next year.
Because those aren't real hardy outside. So you have
no,
to bring
they're
them in.
not.
Okay.
And I've got some other plants here that I use Osmocote on, but if you're going to use Osmocote, you want to make sure you keep your soil moist so that it continues to work.
Okay.
I've also taken some cuttings. Here's some of my favorite geraniums. And it's easier to, for me, it's easier to take cuttings, root them, and then plant them in the spring than it is to try to winter over the whole plant. So I've done the same thing with the Swedish ivy.
Okay. So, but what if we have some pots that maybe we're going to leave outside, but we want to protect them? So what should we do with those?
What I do, and maybe people remember from last year, I decided finally to just plant all my bulbs in pots so I can move them around instead of worry about waiting until the foliage dies down. So I have all those in pots. What I do is I put them along the south side of the garage. I take all the, and any other pots I'm trying to save, and then I use all the leaves that I have outside and just rake them on and pile them on, and most of the time it works fine.
Oh, that is good. So it's a good insulation with those leaves that we're breaking up.
Right, right. And you were asking about the lights.
Right.
These are just cheap shop lights, and you use one grow light and one cool and one warm. And these are the plant and aquarium bulbs, and that's what you use. And I just have them on a timer where they get light 6 to 8 hours a day, and it turns off.
Oh, and that makes it easier that we have that timer because we won't have to run down all the time and see what's going on with the plants.
Right. And then the last thing is that we have critters that come in the house, like Indian meal moth that gets into flowers and grains and dog food and birdseed and all sorts of things. It's a pheromone trap, and it attracts the male moth. And here are a couple different kinds.
Sure.
There's Safer, there's BioCare, and there's also Terrabore. And sometimes you can find, usually not all three at one place, but that's what you use.
And it's not a harmful chemical, it's an attractant, and then it traps them, and everything's safe in your cupboards.
It stops the cycle.
Ah, that is good.
All right.
Well, I just want to tell you that we so enjoy you every month here at Garden Time, and we have a blast, and all of our viewers, they say, we love Jan, we love her tips, and
it's fun.
It is fun. And you always give us...
Keeps my foot in the pie.
But we have a great time, and we always learn so much. And so thank you so much. It's our last Jan Tips of the month for the season, and so we'll see you next spring.
All right.
Excellent.
Works for me.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Your car does more than get you where you need to go. It helps you live the life you love. At Capital Subaru, we're 100% dedicated to finding what works for you. And with a wide selection, personalized service, and plenty of perks, you won't need to go anywhere else to find it. Let us help you make the most of your day. Come shop your way on the Parkway.
It's the Subaru Share the Love event. Lease the new 2018 Subaru Forester 2.5i CVT just $259 per month. Plus, Subaru will donate $250 to charity.
Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Kick off your holidays right with a stop at a Vintage Flea. One stop puts you right in the middle of a holiday shopping paradise. We have everything from new handcrafted gifts to unique vintage items, plus Christmas trees and wreaths. There is something to please anyone on your list. We even have holiday treats to enjoy. Make your holiday shopping easier with a stop at a Vintage Flea.
Judy,
Yep.
do you remember when I asked you if you liked me? I mean, if you really liked me?
Yeah, I liked you on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I need you to do that again.
Well, we really need everyone to like the new Facebook page for Garden Time. So you just go to gardentime.tv and click on the Facebook icon and like us again for our brand new page.
I am standing here with Paul, and we are out at Red Ridge Farms. And this, Paul, is the time of year for olives and olive oil, isn't it? This is when you're doing your work.
Yeah, this is really kind of a culmination of everything throughout the year. Super exciting time for us. We're kind of, we've been kind of focused around this year-end, the grape harvest is done,
Right.
and now we move right into milling, and we'll be milling here for the better part of 6 weeks.
And I think one of the things that really fascinates me about this situation is that I've always liked olive oil, but I really didn't understand how it was made, where it came from. So you're
Yep.
going to go through the process of what you guys go through in milling
Yep.
olive oil, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, basically, it starts with really good, high-quality fruit. The first step is cleanliness.
Right.
So we go through, we hand sort the fruit, and we wash it really well. Just get it super clean. So that's a really critical first step. The next step in the process is we basically kind of make a paste or a mash, and so standing behind you is the mill. So that's the actual mill portion of the process where we take that whole olive, so we don't deep hit or anything, and we basically pound it through a perforated screen like this. And this mill will run, we can fill about, we do about 120 pounds per minute through this mill. So you're really moving a lot of fruit. We want to move it just as fast as we can. And so we fracture it through this mesh, and this is kind of the start of the magic when it comes to making really high quality olive oil. With olive oil, there's flavor in the skins, there's flavor in the flesh, and there's flavor in the pit.
So you're not pitting the olives, you just do the whole,
The
that makes
whole
perfect
thing. Yeah,
sense.
people are really interested in that.
Yeah.
That typically they're expecting it to be a pitted and then the oil's made. But no, you break everything up. And then it goes into a tank. There's a tank on each side of the mill, and that's really where kind of the magic happens. So basically that falls into this tank, and we slowly turn it. Just like, it almost looks like it's almost like you're turning bread dough.
Yeah.
And
it's that thick?
Yeah, it's kind of that thick. Yeah, and it depends on how the olives are. Sometimes it's a little looser, sometimes it's a little thicker. But that's really where you kind of get the intersection of flavor. So in olive oil, there's three main components. There's fruitiness, bitterness, and pungency, and we want those all to be in balance. And depending on how long we leave it in tank, and depending on how we heat it, those three flavor components will kind of come together, and we want them to be in balance as much as possible. And sometimes they come into balance really quick, maybe just a few minutes in tank, and sometimes it can take up to an hour in tank. So
you can't just put it in there and run away and have a drink. You've got to pay attention.
Yeah,
to
you
the
really got to
process.
stay on top of it. And I kind of talk about it's like a recipe.
Yeah.
Every time we bring olives in, it's a little bit different recipe. Heat, time, duration, those sorts of things all play a factor in it.
And then once that is done, how does the process complete then?
Well, basically, after we've been in tank here for a period of time, we then go through a couple centrifuges. So, we're taking advantage of, basically that centrifugal force of spinning that out. And so the fruit goes into basically a spinning cylinder. And so the heavy stuff, the pit, the pulp, and the skin, goes to the outside of that spinning cylinder. And then you get a little water layer, and then inside of that you get an oil layer. And what we try to do is skim off the oil and the water and a little bit of solids. And so that's the next step, and then after that, we go through a final centrifuge, which is basically, it's like a cream separator for folks that maybe grew up around a dairy or those sorts of things. But we spin the water out. So, you know, we're getting oil and water at the first centrifuge, and the next step we take the water out of the oil.
And then that's what gives you this.
Gives us this. So we have this really beautiful, this is called Olio Nuovo, new olive oil. You know, I was taught by a master miller from Italy who talked about, you know, he came over for 2 seasons and lived with us and really taught us how to make high quality olive oil.
Yeah.
And this Olio Nuovo is a really important tradition in Italy, where you've made this new oil, and you can kind of see here there's a little bit of still this fine sediment in this oil, and it's imparting this really beautiful, vibrant flavor, and it also changes the viscosity of the oil. So it's a little thicker, a little creamier, and just adds a lot of really beautiful flavoring to foods.
So then, Paul, currently people can come out for this wonderful event that's happening today.
Yep.
And taste different olive oils.
Yeah, different olive oils. We make 5 different kinds here. So this is a bottle of Arbequina. But there we do a Coroniki, we do a Tuscan, we do a Frantoio, and all of those oils are super distinctive. And that's the beautiful thing about olive oil, is that they pair so well with food, different types of foods, just like wine.
And even if people come out today, or I should say when they come out today, there's the wine things going on. They can buy plants, olive trees, and everything's open right now. It's a big celebration of all the place.
It's a big deal. And you know, and that's a little bit of the kind of the best traditions of Italy, is we want to have, this is a property-wide event. Where people can come. It's complimentary. They can come and taste these oils. We taste it with a little bit of food, a little bit of fine wine, and it's really just a big celebration of the season.
Well, you know, every time I come out here, I actually feel like I'm stepping into a little bit of Italy. So for more information on this great event, go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website, gather all that information up, come out and taste some fresh olive oil for yourself. Paul, always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. It's great.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
The seasons are definitely changing, but at Portland Nursery, the one thing that never changes is our commitment to you, our customer. Whether it's helping you get ready for the holidays or getting your garden ready for the next growing season, Portland Nursery has the experts to help you prepare. Stop by and see what's new for your home or garden, then take home something special for the season. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people, at 50th and Stark or 90th and Division.
Venture into a magical world of ice skating, lights, and artisan vendors during Christmas in the Garden at the Oregon Garden. Enjoy a traditional Christmas market with handmade gifts, mulled wine, cozy fire pits, carolers, photos with Santa, and even an ice skating rink. Then stay the night at the Oregon Garden Resort in historic Silverton. Christmas in the Garden is open through New Year's with activities changing daily. Visit OregonGarden.org for details. Create a new holiday tradition at the Oregon Garden. Don't let the cold and wet get you this winter. Warm up to a season of heat with Grimm's Fuel. Grimm's has plenty of wood and heating oil ready to deliver to keep you warm all winter long. Stay warm and cozy with Grimm's Fuel.
You know, it is that time of year again when we're all thinking about gift buying for other people and sometimes ourselves. So we wanted to go over some of the great items that you can find at different garden centers to purchase as gifts. We're going to start out right away with tools. Now, of the tools, there's so many different selections in tools available to people, so you can get a whole brand of like-kinded ones. Certainly, Felcos are something that we all love so much, and we really enjoy buying those as gifts. There's also these great things, and we just got this from White Flower Farm, which is from a foreign, it's overseas where that comes from, and it's a freaky little tool, but sometimes gardeners, well, we kind of like freaky little tools, so this is a great idea. Let's never forget, of course, gloves too. Gloves are something that every gardener loves to have. They protect your hands and they make the work easier. And then also pets. We have a lot of people nowadays that love pets, and this is a great idea for a gift for a pet lover. It comes with a scoop and the little rake to clean up after your pet, whether they're on a walk or in your own yard.
And you know, I think we think of our birds in our yards as pets.
We do.
So why don't you get some new feeders for them? There's always so many beautiful hummingbird feeders. I love this glass one. And instead of making your own nectar for it, it's ready-made. And so it's even easier to give as a gift. Suet feeders and seed feeders, there's always so many different ones to choose from. And really, we need to feed our birds during the winter time and help them out.
It really is true. But you know, if you really want to consider something more, if you have a gardener who loves unique and wonderful plants. Never forget orchids. A lot of places have them. They come in so many different beautiful colors. And of course the bromeliad family also. And the good thing about these as gifts is the blooms last for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yes, and then, you know, we love do-it-yourself. And so what about forcing some amaryllis? This is a newer one that came out just in the last few years. You don't even have to put it in soil. You just kind of put it on the counter and it'll bloom, and it's covered by this really beautiful wax coating. And then always different beautiful amaryllis to force for your garden.
And you know, as silly as it might seem to some people, we gardeners would even love a bag of soil. And there's all different types of sizes and varieties. This one is black gold all-purpose, so that really could come in handy. And if you really wanted to surprise someone with a great gift of soil, you can go to a place like Grimm's and get it bought for them, and then they will actually blow it into the areas where the mulch and soil goes.
Not even labor on your part.
No, not at all.
And then Dram has wonderful tools. And what about something color coordinated, a trigger sprayer and a hose, all in a Decorator Holiday Red?
Well, it doesn't get any fancier than that.
Exactly.
And remember, if your gardener is also a big fan of Garden Time, you can go to the website and buy the Garden Time rose, tulip, dahlias, or irises. What a way to say happy holidays.
And you know, we have Garden Time t-shirts and hats too.
And then let's not forget gift cards. You know, almost every garden center has them nowadays, and they're a great way, if you don't know what to buy for someone, to give them a gift card.
And then what about a membership? We have so many beautiful gardens in our area. There's the Oregon Garden, there's Lansu Chinese Garden, also the Japanese Garden, and would be wonderful to have a membership for that.
Now, Judy, we can't forget to mention one other gift.
Ah,
what do you think that's going to be?
One. Oh my gosh, that would be a great gift.
So we're thinking about the trip next year to Europe that we're taking. That would be a great gift to give someone who not only loves to garden, but loves to go gardening with people that love gardens.
But really, there's so many different gifts at any of your favorite local independent garden centers. So go to gardentime.tv and you can find out those in your area. I am at Stoller Family Vineyard today, and I'm with Jason, who you're actually the wine grower here, which is, I love that title, it's great.
Yeah.
And so what do we do this time of year? It's like I see there's no fruit left, there's really no leaves left, and it's like, what's going on in the vineyards these days?
Actually, right now, nothing is going on in the vineyard. We're going through and finishing up some replants in some blocks that we've planted earlier this year, but right now we're waiting. We're waiting for these frost events and cooler temperatures to set in and have our vines be fully dormant before we'd go out and make pruning cuts on them.
And really, as a homeowner, my grapevines, I do the same thing. I have to wait for those frosts.
Yeah, usually we end up seeing those frosts come through in November, early December, and then we can start last half of December, January, March, through March. Those are the times we will be pruning on our grapevines.
And it's really important to leave some of this on because you want, like you said, the carbohydrates going back into the plant so we have a great success next year.
So, yeah, the plant has built up carbohydrates with its leaves all summer, and you know, it senesces and pushes those carbohydrates back down into the root system, preparing for the next spring. So coming in and cutting those canes off before those carbohydrates can get back down could actually keep your vine from performing as well as you want to the next year.
And so if we are going in, so say we've had the frost, so we're going to go back in and we're going to take off 95% of this.
Yeah, you can really cut into a grapevine. In Oregon, what we do, we'll cut most of everything off that you see here. This is a vertical shoot positioned trained vine. We are cane prune, meaning we save 2 canes at the base of the vine or at the head of the vine that we will save for next year. We'll lay those and tie them to the wire, and from that we will have the new shoots for the year arrive, and that will bear the fruit for the current year. So it's 1 year wood that the fruit arrives on.
So it's time to drink wine, which is wonderful because there's nothing you could do out in your little vineyard there. So we're going to go into the tasting room and talk to Melissa, who is the winemaker. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, now I am in the beautiful wine tasting room with Melissa. Melissa, you are the director of winemaking, and they're so delicious. So tell us a little bit about the wines that are here on this table.
Sure, there's 2 Pinots and 2 Chardonnays. That's our main focus here, those 2 varietals. And they're diverse in their offerings. We have an unoaked Chardonnay and a barrel fermented Chardonnay. And then our Pinot Noir is our mosaic Pinot, come from the whole estate. And then a reserve, which is blended from some of the oldest vines on the property.
Ah, nice. And then then I see you have something called History, and I'm almost as old as one of these. So what is that all about?
Well, History is a wine brand. It's focusing on the small amounts of wine grapes from some of the oldest vineyards in the Northwest. Amazing. So it's a really interesting collection, working with these sites and these pioneering people and making wines from other areas. A lot of these wines are from Washington and parts of Oregon as well.
Now, this History wine is really a unique partnership, so tell us about that.
Sure, yeah, it's a partnership between myself and Bill Stoller. I started the project in 2013, and then we partnered shortly after that, and it's offered, we do tastings here at the winery, and you can find information off our website. If you go to Stoller Family Estate, there's a link to the History wines as well.
And so much to wonder about, but also to come taste, because the Thanksgiving holiday weekend is really a big event up here.
It's huge, and it's a lot of fun. So we have Friday through Sunday, we've got events set up all day long to come taste wines, of course, but also there's food available for purchase, and there's a holiday market, so there's purveyors here selling gifts, a lot of artisans, and really neat things. So come shop and eat and drink, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I think shopping at a mall would be not as much fun as coming out to Stoller Family Estate to come for all the wine tasting and really get your shopping started for that holiday season. So go to gardentime.tv, we'll click you over their website, and you can find out all that information. Well, thanks so much, and have a great year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Garden Time is going to Europe, and you can join us. Next August, join Garden Time as we tour gardens in London, Paris, and Belgium. See world-famous gardens like Hampton Court, Kew, Sissinghurst, and Great Dixter, and Monet's water lily garden in France. We'll also see sights in London and Paris, like the Tower Bridge and the Eiffel Tower. We'll also stop in the Champagne area of France, tour a Belgian brewery, castle gardens, and a winery. We'll also have a river cruise. Our final stop is a visit to the Floral Carpet in Brussels. We'll be staying in 4-star hotels with 24 of your meals and your airfare included. Mark your calendar for next August for this gardener's bucket list tour, and then sign up. And if you book now, you'll save $300 per person. Visit the Garden Time website and click on the tours link for all the details. And we'll see you in Europe.
Standards prices are great. We've checked, they're very competitive. That's why we use them.
You don't have to waste time running around making phone calls. It's good to know when working with Standard that our staff doesn't have to spend incredible amounts of time searching for pricing.
And even with the clients that have checked around, they've always come back to Standard as being their best buy.
Since 1947, we set the standard. Standard TV and appliance.
So I am standing in Terra Casa. I'm here with Diana, and you know, Diana, really when it comes to things like lighting and the holidays, there's few places I go to that have as many wonderful examples of that as you do. So let's jump in and talk about what you have this year.
So we love lights here because we do so many different things with them. We put them in our lanterns, we put them in bowls. We have LED lights that plug into the wall. We also have LED lights that are battery operated, so they're a little bit more versatile. A lot of these have programs on them. You can do about 8 different things with the lights on them. So wow. There's many different kinds to choose from.
And before we start talking about individuals as we go down, I've got to mention you're great about picking out new things. And this looks like it's literally on fire, and yet show us what it is.
So I got excited about this at market. This is called a flame wave, and what it is it's an LED module that has 100 LED lights in it, and it's rechargeable. It comes with a cord that you plug into a USB port.
It's not a battery then,
no,
is it?
Which is awesome because I can't stand batteries. And well, they get expensive.
They
and
do.
so this is nice that this, but when this is 100 LED lights, and the way they programmed it, you put it in an opaque, it kind of needs to be in an opaque hurricane.
Wow.
It looks like a real large flame.
Because it's cool just by itself, but like that, it really is.
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
stunning.
Alive, like a real
is.
fire.
It does, and safe.
Yeah,
so
yes,
you're not
exactly.
burning, and I'm all about safety. One of the #1 reasons for house fires is candles being left unattended. So we're all about our flameless candles around here.
The worst these will do is just burn out of energy.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Plug it back in and you're good to go.
So let's talk about what you've done. You have a lot of wonderful containers here and different types of cages and birds. Tell me how you guys come up with these ideas.
So we get in a lot of different kind of lanterns, and so what we do is we make a scene in it, and we take Santas, or we take snowmen, or we take little farm animals, and we put some snow, we put some greenery, some lights, and you can buy it as is. It's just like this, or we can build one for you based on what you choose to put in it, or you can just buy a lantern all by itself.
In fact, I would guess that if somebody comes in because their Christmas has a specific color blend to it, you can even help them pick those things out and do this kind of stuff there.
Yes, and they look really nice with the spheres in them, the glass spheres. So, and there's little tiny ones, and we use some of our sprays here at the top, and bells and bows and lights. And
then on the other side of this counter, tell me about the stuff that you got in there that's pretty cool.
So trains are big this year. They're little choo-choo trains, and you can put them on a mantle or a hearth, and you can put ornaments in them, you can put lights on them, you can put greenery on them. They're very versatile, and there's silver, and there's red and green.
But you know, for those of us, and I still kind of have a love for real burning candles, you still have those, and you have certain things like this beautiful right here at the end of the counter, things that are actually lit up.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of real candles here, and this is a lifetime candle. We've talked about these on the show before. They have preserved greens in them, and they have a wick that never burns away because it's made of fiberglass. So you just refill it with a pure candle lamp oil, and it will last you forever. It's called a lifetime candle.
And you know me well enough to know that I love to be lit at Christmas time. So one of the things I love is we've talked about the different bowls that you guys have and decorating with those, but this year you actually put lights into those.
Right, because when we put the glass spheres inside the bowl and we put the other decor, and you can use ornaments from the Christmas tree too, it just makes everything light up inside the glass. So.
And then you even went a step further and took like there's some frosted plates over there and different types of vases, and you just put the lights behind those, and it really makes them look like a holiday dream thing.
And some of those come that way. They actually have a bottle brush lighting system in them that plug in, and they're just have little tiny lights in them that light the little vases from the inside.
Absolutely beautiful. Well, you know, I adore the holidays, and I love decorating at home for them, so I always make sure that I make a trip out to Terra Casa and see what new and inventive ways they have to help make our homes beautiful for the holidays. So for more information, go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website, come out, see when their hours are, visit, pick up something for your own home. Thank you so much, Diana.
Thanks, William.
Thank you for watching today, and don't forget to come out to Red Ridge Farms for their olive oil festival. Hey William, what's your favorite part of the festival?
All of the free olive tastings.
Well, you can come out and taste all the different flavors of the olive oils today and tomorrow at Red Ridge Farms.
We wanted to thank you for watching today, but we also wanted to remind you that next week is our last episode of this 12th season. So for more information on that, you can always go to Garden Time too.
William and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Garden Time.
Don't let the cold and wet get you this winter. Warm up to a season of heat with Grimm's Fuel. Grimm's has plenty of wood and heating oil ready to deliver to keep you warm all winter long. Stay warm and cozy with Grimm's Fuel. The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.